Sir. Okay, okay. Ano ka hindi naman? Hindi.
Yun o. Grabe.
Yun o.
Yun o. Yes, Daddy. Go, go.
Dilim. Ano ba yung kuha ko?
Ang layo naman.
Kaya ba naman? Yan na.
Yan sila. Ayun o, selfie o. Ganda nun o. Hop, hop, hop.
Takpan mo. Pasok masyado. Pasok masyado.
Palabasin yung konti.
Tapos yung mga sleeveless, tapress mo. Hindi kita.
Harang yung sa likod.
Sayang.
Sayang.
Sayang ang kuha ko.
Sayang po ha. Sayang ang kuha. Sayang, harang. Sayang.
Sige, alis lang kami.
Katalikod na eh. Wala na sila makita.
Kuya. Isa. Gulo. Test naman. Sila naman.
Backward lang po.
Oh, ano tayo?
Sir, balik lang po. Balik lang po. Balik lang, sir. Balik lang.
Oh, yan, nabutan, oh.
What are the places here in the tourist that you're going to visit?
I guess the first one I will go is like more in Boracay because I hear that the beach here, like the sun here, like the white beach, and there is very clear. And I hear about like the sea and the pool stuff are very fun and saying that for like low budget people, it's really nice to travel here. The people here are very hospitable and they're like very friendly to us, and it's really nice to be here.
It's been a long time.
No, my mom and we have been here before.
How do you personally feel? It's been a long time since you traveled, right? How do you
Yes.
personally feel that you're
I really feel excited. It's been a long time because of the pandemic. We've not been here for a really long time, and I miss the people here because I got friends here. Yes, thank you.
What are you looking forward most?
Going travel, especially with friends who are Filipino because they're really kind to us. Chinese, yes.
What places in the Philippines do you want to go?
I really the other place I want to go is like the Chinatown. I hear the Chinatown here for like this Chinese New Year. It's really fun because my friend here were saying that. Yeah.
Can you have your name? 你叫什么名字啊？对，
我叫施华婷。
哪个诗就是诗语的诗是吧？
不是，是另外一个诗，是那个方字旁的那个。
啊，对，诗什么？
华婷。
中华的华。
然后婷是女字旁的婷。
What's your name in English? We have.
Winnie she.
We'll get it from you.
Thank you so much and enjoy your stay. Thank you.
We have another book.
Rich, thanking me. Ali.
是还有一组游客对吧？过来。
Okay.
Chinese tourists。
哎呦，不要！
然后呢，你们父母站过来吧，站到一边一个吧，小朋友在中间好不好？这样子啊，要 family 哈。小朋友今天来这里看到这么热情的一个迎接的仪式，觉得开心吗？开
It's happy.
happy
I'm excited.
这是你第一次来菲律宾吗？
Yes.
啊，你这次准备去哪里玩呢？马尼拉。那父母谁主讲一下？爸爸来。今天高兴吗？终于又到菲律宾来了，这样。
今天非常高兴，我头一次到菲律宾，我刚下飞机都感受到菲律宾人民的友好和热情，内心当中非常激动。
这一次过来有什么计划要去哪里玩吗？
我们准备就在马尼拉，大约有半个多月的旅游行程。对。
就在马尼拉待着，要去什么海滩那些看一看吗？
会去的。我们也是第一次来到菲律宾。
我听您口音像东北。
对，我们是东北的。
东北的。
对，我们辽宁的。
那是从大东北那个冰天雪地到了菲律宾这边。
对。
为什么会选择来菲律宾？
我们那边现在这个正好是这个严冬天气。那个确实也挺冷，而且我们这边是有亲属，我们过来也是连探亲带旅游。到这边来之后真是冰火两重天，感觉到菲律宾人民的热情，非常开心，非常高兴。我想我们这次这个旅游也会给我们增加了一个难忘的回忆。
好，谢谢你。我们知道那个你的名字吗？
文鹏
是哪个文？
新闻的文。
新闻的文。
对。
小朋友几岁了？鹏是大10岁，大鹏2岁。
对。
小朋友叫什么？叫
十字加一个那个用玩儿的。
博物馆的博物馆。还可以，简单一点的。是哪个轩？轩是哪个？那个车干轩。好，谢谢你。Do you speak English?
Yes.
You are. Where do you want to go? Here in the
Beach and the sea or yes, but I go to the beach or sea.
Are you happy?
Yes, I'm excited and happy.
Why?
Because this is my first time going to the Philippines.
How old are you?
10 years old.
10 years old. From what province, part of China you came from?
But the Liaoning, Shenyang.
Very cold. Their home is very cold.
Yes.
Frozen. So how long are you going to stay here in the Philippines?
Watch my uncle and travel.
How long? 要待多久 2 weeks? 2 weeks. Around 2 weeks.
About one month.
Can we have your name?
What's her name?
I have already.
All right. Thank you so much. Very good. Thank you.
今天怎么称呼？
我是来自中国，我是中国攀华集团的董事长李新华。
李总你好，今天下飞机看到这么盛大的一个欢迎仪式，觉得心情怎么样？
我觉得心情特别激动，我来菲律宾无数次了，这一次是前所未有的隆重。我觉得我们菲律宾的这个旅游部长亲自来接我们，我们中国的华西联大使亲自到机场来接我们，特别激动，特别感动。我觉得我们中国跟菲律宾的友谊越来越好，我们的跟菲律宾的友谊合作越来越牢固。我这次来的目的就是1月5号，我们马克思总统接受我们集总书记的接见，我跟马克思总统汇报了我们在菲律宾建设一个综合性钢铁厂。我今天来是践行我的承诺，我们要在菲律宾历史上建一个综合性的钢铁厂，推动当地的发展、经济的建设。
谢谢您，谢谢您，
好，谢谢。
您讲英语吗？您能讲？
我英语不怎么会。
Thank you very much.
好，谢谢。
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. We are joined today by our Tourism Secretary, Cristina Garcia Blasco, and of course, our Ambassador, Wang. And for our first question, may we please request Gretchen Lalad. Of course, in the interest of time, you are allowed to ask one question and a follow-up question. We will wait for you.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Alright. May I please call on Gretchen?
Secretary, what does the arrival of Chinese tourists mean for the country? And do you think the industry will recover faster now that China has opened up and people can now travel?
The arrival of Chinese tourists to the Philippines signals a very auspicious start to the new year and indicates the positive result of President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr.'s state visit to China to further the relations between our countries. We anticipate even more Chinese tourists to arrive, and which will greatly help us in our efforts to transform and to recover the tourism industry, as our intention is not only to regain our pre-pandemic numbers, but to exceed it, knowing how the relationship between the Philippines and China will only further improve in the years to come with the stance of both our governments.
For the second question?
Secretary, I would like to know, because here is just the first batch of Chinese tourists, and we will have more to come. So what's your message to them still in China? How's the DOT doing prepare to just welcome them to the Philippines? And right now still Chinese Spring Festival. Do you have any message like the New Year wishes? Say that to the Chinese audience. Thank you.
First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to the government of the People's Republic of China for identifying the Philippines as one of the first 20 countries where group tours are allowed. The Philippines is open and ready to welcome our friends from China to continue to improve the relationship between our two nations, which spans millennia. We welcome you to the Philippines, and we cannot wait to let you feel the warmth of the Filipino people and to enjoy our award-winning beach destinations and all other nature-based offerings. The Philippines is a country blessed with many islands, a wealth of cultural offerings, wonderful food, and the warmth of the Filipino people. And we look forward to all of you visiting our country.
Thank you, Zeng Zeng from CCTV.
What's
Goshi Fashai?
Yeah, that's very good.
Did I say that correctly?
Yeah.
And a happy Chinese New Year. May this coming year bring blessings and prosperity for you and your families as we join you in our hopes for positivity, abundance, and prosperity in the year to come.
All right, so that's Zeng Zeng from CCTV from Sinwa News.
Yes. Hello, Secretary. As we know that tourism is one of the pillar industries of the Philippines. So as Chinese tourists returning to the Philippines again, what positive effects will this have on the Philippine tourism industry and the economic development in general? And what new measures will the Ministry of Tourism introduce to attract more Chinese tourists to the country? Thank you.
The arrival of Chinese tourists into the Philippines brings a very positive impact for the prospects of the recovery of the Philippine tourism industry, recognizing that China supplies the most number of people for outbound travel, as 2019 numbers would show, at 160 million. We hope to be able to increase that share for the Philippines since 32 million Chinese came to the ASEAN region. And our hope is that from our 1.7 million arrivals in 2019, that we would far exceed that as we usher in this new period for recovery. We continue to improve our key destinations that are most popular with our Chinese friends, including Boracay, Cebu, and Palawan, as well as Bohol and other islands in the country. We're working very closely with our local government units, our mayors and our governors, to ensure also the peace and security of these destinations, as well as the improvement of the provision of health services. We are very pleased with the signing of an implementing program between China and the Philippines that ensures that we improve tourism infrastructure, joint promotions, as well as the continuous improvement of our tourism professionals. So the effort is not only to continue to develop our key destinations, but to allow our Chinese friends to discover the rest of our 7,600 plus islands. And we're doing this by the launch of the Philippine Experience, a heritage, culture, and arts caravan that will allow our visitors not only to experience the physical destination itself, but also all the other components of the destination that make it unique and would give our visitors a window into the soul of the Filipino. And that is our festivals, our food, the work of our local artisans and bakers. We're also launching the Bisita Be My Guest program that provides incentives for our Filipino nationals here and abroad who invite Chinese friends as well as other nationalities to come and visit our destinations. We have a wealth of other programs that we have in store, and we're really very hopeful that with this partnership between our two governments, the Philippines and China, that we would be able to usher in the growth of the Philippines into a tourism powerhouse in Asia.
Thank you.
Before we go to the next question, perhaps Ambassador Leon would wish to add something on this partnership between the Philippines and China, sir.
Yes, thank you. You know, I'm so happy to join Secretary Frasco to warmly welcome Chinese tourists to the Philippines at the beginning of the Chinese New Year. And we appreciate the great efforts made by the Department of Tourism of the Philippines in welcoming the Chinese tourists and in formulating some measures and some policies to make their stay, their visit in the Philippines a pleasant, a safe one. And as Secretary said just now, that during the recent state visit of the President Marcos to China, both presidents of China and the Philippines have agreed to make people-to-people exchanges as one of the 4 priority areas of cooperation. And of course, during the visits, one's action plan on tourism cooperation was also signed. So I think that today's event is also one of the measures to implement the consensus reached by our 2 leaders. And we believe that with the development of our tourism cooperation, and we believe that there will be growing number of Chinese tourists coming to the Philippines to enjoy the beauty of this country. And as for the embassy, you know that Chinese embassies and consulates are always the home to all Chinese citizens traveling overseas. We are ready to render any assistance and facilitation anytime for Chinese tourists in this country. We hope you will have a pleasant stay, safe stay in this country and bring back fond memories. And we also believe this kind of tourism cooperation and people-to-people exchanges will further promote the traditional friendship and cooperation between our 2 countries. Again, thank you, Secretary.
Thank you. And thanks as well, Ambassador Zilian. Now we'll have Celerina Monte of NHK to be followed by Rafima of TVBS.
Good afternoon, Secretary Ambassador, to the Ambassador. So do you have any target as like how many Chinese tourists do you intend to bring in to the Philippines? And sorry if I have to ask this with due respect. Do you think the recent Ayungin Shoal incident would affect the tourism cooperation between the Philippines and China?
You know that during the visits, both sides have agreed that we need to increase the level of exchanges and tourism exchanges to the level of the pre-pandemic era. I think in 2019 we had 1.76 billion people visited the Philippines. So we believe that in the post-pandemic era, we will restore the level of people-to-people exchanges. Of course, we expect to have more and more Chinese tourists to this country. And as you mentioned, that of course we have very close ties in all areas, including people-to-people exchanges and functional cooperation in many areas, as you have seen during the visit of the President Marcos to China. And as I always say, that it's normal to have some differences between neighbors, and the differences should not be in the way of our cooperation and people-to-people exchanges. On the contrary, we hope that more and more people-to-people exchanges will contribute to mutual trust and to reduce the kind of risk of misunderstanding. Thank you.
Rafi?
Hi, Secretary. Are there still health concerns with the arrival of more tourists, not only from China, but especially from China? Recently, there was a wave of infections in China. So the question is, are there still any health concerns with the arrival of more tourists in the Philippines?
Whether it's COVID-19 or any other virus or illness, health concerns are quite common in any country, including the Philippines. The important thing is that our government continues to observe minimum public health standards. At the same time, ensuring that we are able to strike a balance between protecting the public health as well as promoting livelihood, considering all the losses that have ensued since the pandemic. We have protocols that are in place as far as the arrival of foreign nationals, including Chinese nationals, and these continue to be observed. We are working very closely with our fellow government agencies, including the Bureau of Immigration, the Department of Justice, the Department of Health, to ensure that these minimum standards are in place and are followed. Other than that, we continue to convey the Philippines' readiness to receive Chinese tourists and foreign nationals from all over the world, as the effort really is to help our fellow Filipinos regain the losses that they've had and suffered through the difficult times of the pandemic.
Okay. Yes, please.
And turned around the economy badly weakened by the global financial crisis. As Prime Minister mentioned, I have followed the